Now at 5, federal funding announced for the city of Baxter Springs to help build a new firehouse. Plus, a proposed sober living house in Baxter Springs is creating controversy among some residents. And
opening statements get underway in Trump's first criminal trial. I'm Jared Hill outside the courthouse in Manhattan with why legal experts say data shows that this day is so important.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
The city of Baxter Springs, Kansas today announced federal funding for a new firehouse. This is KOIM News at 5. I'm Dow Quick. The city hosted a groundbreaking ceremony and held a news conference to discuss the project. $1 million in federal funds will be freed up to replace the city's current firehouse, which is more than 100 years old. Fire officials say they've outgrown the current station and they need more space. Former firefighters were on hand for the ceremony.
So it's been tremendous to be able to have 3 of our firefighters that served over 50 years of service in that fire station of 100 years. For them to be able to break ground and be a part of this new firehouse to start a new tradition is just spectacular for us.
The federal money comes from fiscal year 2024 appropriations package passed by Congress and signed into law last month. Upright House Ministries is building its first sober living home for men on Park Avenue in Baxter Springs. The Christian nonprofit organization plans to house 6 men who are serious about living sober. One neighbor passed out flyers to residents concerned about the location. The sober living home is 300 feet south of an elementary school and a 3-minute walk from a restaurant bar that you can see from the porch.
I kind of questioned the location myself at first, but I work with folks all the time. There are different classes of people in addiction. The people we're going to be working with are guys who are really trying to get their life together. I wouldn't dream of bringing somebody in here just straight detox off the street and put them in the neighborhood, because that would be wrong. We're going to be good neighbors.
The resident who made the flyer plans to speak at the city council meeting to address the placement of that sober living home. Baxter Springs City Council meeting is tomorrow at 7 p.m. It's been almost a month since the city of Lamar, Missouri announced it was taking bids from engineering firms to demolish the city's aquatic park and remediate the land. However, since then, many community members have spoken up and said they do not want to see the pool removed. A group of community members met today to discuss and come up with a plan they will eventually present to the city in hopes of keeping most or part of the aquatic facility.
We have a really great opportunity to do something great for our community right now, and we don't want to butt heads with the city at all. We want to be a helpmate to them. We want to take our ideas and what we'd like to see as a community and give them a plan of action that we'd like to see put in place by our city officials.
No decision has been made by the city on what will happen to that facility. Let's check in with Chief Meteorologist Doug Heddy for a first look at the weather.
Well, it's definitely turned out to be a nice Monday for us today. A little bit on the windy side, and that's going to kind of be the case over the next couple days. But 68 in Joplin, 66 in Pittsburgh looks pretty good for us right now. Upper 60s, we have lower 70s once you get out across southeastern Kansas, also northeastern parts of Oklahoma. But we do have those southerly winds kicking in, so a little bit of a fire danger as the humidity is fairly low. We have those south winds at about 15 to 20 to 25 miles per hour. A few little high clouds rotating through. We do have a cold front to our north. This is going to slide in tomorrow. This may give us a random shower or 2 as we go into tomorrow afternoon. But the evening looks great. We drop back through the 60s into the 50s. Big severe weather threat, though, later this week. We're going to look at that here in just a bit.
See you soon. The first witness took the stand today in former President Trump's historic criminal trial in New York. The presumptive Republican presidential nominee is accused of falsifying records. Trump denies any wrongdoing, claims the trial is politically motivated. Jared Hill has more.
Former President Trump downplayed the allegations against him following opening statements in his historic criminal trial in New York.
It's a case as to bookkeeping, which is a very minor thing in terms of the law, in terms of all the violent crime that's going on outside.
Trump faces 34 felony counts of falsifying business records. He's accused of using his former lawyer, Michael Cohen, to funnel payments to adult film star Stormy Daniels. In their opening statement, prosecutors said Trump, quote, orchestrated a criminal scheme to corrupt the 2016 election. The defense countered, saying there's, quote, nothing wrong with trying to influence an election. It's called democracy.
Trump's team is really going to make this about Michael Cohen and his credibility. And the DA's office, of course, has layers upon layers of evidence that they expect will back Michael Cohen up. And that's what I found surprising.
Former National Enquirer publisher David Pecker took the stand first. Prosecutors say he was part of an alleged catch and kill scheme to purchase and prevent the circulation of negative Trump stories. Because he has to be here for the trial, the presumptive Republican presidential nominee has largely been sidelined from the campaign trail.
I'm here instead of being able to be in Pennsylvania and Georgia and lots of other places campaigning.
The trial is expected to last several weeks. Jared Hill, CBS News, New York.
Now, lawyers for the former president fought legal battles on two fronts today. In addition to this criminal trial, there was also a hearing related to the $175 million bond Trump put up in his New York civil fraud case. The nation's struggle with homelessness reached the Supreme Court today for arguments about whether a ban on people sleeping in Grants Pass, Oregon's public parks, is constitutional. An appeals court struck down the measure, saying it violated the 8th Amendment because it punishes people for something they don't have control over. The High Court justices today weighed whether homelessness is someone's status or their conduct. The ruling is expected by the end of June. Still ahead, a high-tech development in organ transplants.
A new technology is helping make donor organs more viable for patients who need liver transplants. I'm Bradley Blackburn with the story of one man who says it's given him new life.
Plus, researchers make progress in using immunotherapy to treat cancer. Those stories next in Health Watch. Topping today's Health Watch, researchers say they're making progress using immunotherapy to fight cancer. Engineers at Virginia Tech used a protein called cytokine to attack cancer cells. They designed the protein to stay within tumors so it doesn't attack healthy cells. The goal is to develop a treatment that's effective but less invasive than chemotherapy. Doctors are looking into whether liver function holds the key to better cancer treatments. A study by the University of Pennsylvania shows that liver cells release proteins that could boost anti-cancer immunity. It might explain why liver inflammation is linked to worse cancer outcomes. Doctors say this could lead to liver treatments that help cancer patients in the future. We're learning more about how alcohol damages the liver. A study published in Hepatology shows a strong connection between alcohol consumption and the risk of hepatocellular carcinoma, or HCC, an aggressive form of liver cancer. The cancer is often only diagnosed when it's too late for treatment. The study authors recommend cirrhosis patients be screened more often for HCC. April is Donate Life Month, highlighting the importance for people to register as an organ, eye, or tissue donor. More than 100,000 people are on the national transplant waiting list. Well, now technology is helping make more organs viable so more lives can be saved. Bradley Blackburn has one man's story.
World-renowned ornithologist Eduardo Inigo Elias can't wait to get back to doing the job he loves, studying birds. A gift from an organ donor has given him a second chance.
So thankful, number one, for the organ donor and his family. I want to thank him for this opportunity to extend the lease of my life, and my family is very grateful.
Eduardo had severe liver cirrhosis from non-alcoholic liver disease. He spent more than 6 years on the transplant list waiting for a new liver.
Deteriorating and getting sicker.
When the call finally came that a donor liver was available, doctors determined the organ's fat content compromised its viability.
We try to use every organ, but there are certain organs that can't be used, like a fatty liver, like an older liver.
Dr. Leona Kim Schluger is the Associate Director of the Recanati Miller Transplantation Institute at Mount Sinai. where surgeons used a new technology called organ perfusion on the donated liver.
This machine allows the organs to be literally cleansed. You're putting in nutrients, you're putting in oxygen, you're measuring the viability of the organ. It allows us to use many more organs, and obviously the more organs you have, the more lives you save.
It's been more than a year and a half since Eduardo's transplant, and while he's had some complications, he's very grateful.
I just took a 45-minute walk in Central Park, birding. I don't have any more complications. My medications are working, my liver functions are normal, my energy is back, everything is just perfect.
And he hopes sharing his story encourages more people to sign up to be an organ donor. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News, New York.
Now, you can register in the National Donate Life Registry at registerme.org. Any person 18 and older can register to be an organ, eye, and tissue donor. And that is a look at today's health news. A little bit later, the Webb City Public Library opens a new seed library to celebrate Earth Day.
Plus, our severe threat is going to be returning later this week. Details on that coming up. Well, it definitely turned out to be a nice Monday for us today. We had mostly sunny skies, temperatures great. Most of us right around 70, if not into the 70s, with some high-level clouds. A little windy, but overall not bad. Here's a nice shot of the Indigo Sky Casino and Resort. Of course, Indigo is just outside of Seneca, Missouri. All right, so we do have severe threat, which is going to return later this week. So we're going to go Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and look where the hot spots are. So on Thursday, the greater threat's going to be central Kansas, western parts of Oklahoma into Texas, but we at least have a low threat as we get into late Thursday. Now on Friday, we get into the higher threat for severe weather, really from Kansas City, Joplin, all the way down toward Dallas. And then as we go into Saturday, the higher threat kind of backs to the west, but we're still in it, and we'll even have a threat as we go into Sunday as well. And we're going to have all modes of severe weather is going to be possible. So we're going to really be keeping our eyes on this as we go through the next couple days. So let's take a look at it. Let's go to Thursday. So main severe threat Thursday is going to be Wichita, Dodge City, down to Oklahoma City. But some of those could get in Thursday night. Let's move into Friday. Showers and thunderstorms erupt. So here's 5:30 p.m. We'll have at least a moderate threat for severe weather. As we go into Saturday, the higher threat kind of moves back into central and western Oklahoma and then drives in again as we go through Saturday night. And then even on Sunday, we're going to have a chance, at least in our eastern counties, to get strong to severe thunderstorms Sunday afternoon. So it could be a wild ride as we go through this next week. Now, until then, we look okay. All right, temperatures upper 60s, lower 70s once you get out across southeastern Kansas. Looks pretty good. Here's 7th and Range Line. We are sitting at 68. Right now, humidity is bone dry, so that's why with the wind, a little bit of a fire concern. Temperatures slide back through the 60s, 50s, into the lower 50s for overnight lows for us tonight. And you can see those winds, those southerly winds kicking in at about 15 to 25. And we've been getting some gusts right around 30 at times. These will slowly back down a bit as we go through the evening hours. A few little clouds kind of skirting through, but in general, we look pretty good. We do have a cold front to our north. This is going to head toward us by tomorrow afternoon, and then here's the beginnings of that next storm system out to the west. All right, let's work through time for you tonight. We'll only back down, low 50s. As we go through the daytime hours tomorrow, as this cold front pushes in, we may get a random shower, especially late. Not a big deal. We still go into the 70s for highs. Tomorrow night, we back down only into lower 50s once again. And then on Wednesday, we get better chances for showers and thunderstorms, especially in the afternoon into the evening hours, but none of those will be severe. All right, 73 for us tomorrow. Looking pretty good. Let's go 68 on Wednesday. A few thunderstorms late. Thunderstorms picking up on Thursday, and then Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We're going to go ahead and make them possible alert days just because that severe threat is looming.
Obviously, you will know more as the days get closer.
Exactly.
Thanks, Doug. Hey, as people across the country celebrate Earth Day, the Webb City Public Library is helping patrons develop their own green thumbs. The library has more than just books. They are opening up a seed library for the first time this year. Seed companies and library patrons have donated seeds, and the public is free to just come in, pick out whatever they like. Available seeds include various types of produce, flowers, and herbs. The seed library organizer says it offers an opportunity for the public to try gardening.
I also know there's a lot of people that want to spend money on gardens and stuff, but it gets really expensive when you want to do that, and some people just can't get started. It's worth it if you can do it, but when you can't get started, and people can just come in here and get what they need.
The library hopes people turn in seeds from their own crops at the end of the season. They hope that by doing so, the seed library will create a cycle of growth for the community to enjoy in future years. How's that for a great idea? Coming up, why car prices and the loans to pay for cars are skyrocketing right now. Topping today's Consumer Watch, drivers are facing the worst sticker shock in a generation. Used car prices are now 25% higher than 5 years ago. Loan interest rates are way up and insurance prices have skyrocketed. Jeff Guyan explains why.
Karen and Marissa Hood and baby Noah have been looking for a new car since January, only to find sticker shock.
Now you're looking at the payments and it's just kind of crazy.
Last month, the average price of a new car was just under $47,000, and the average new car payment was north of $700. Also in March, the average interest rate for a new car loan was more than 7%, used nearly 12%. As for finding something affordable,
the 20,000 vehicle's dead. If you want a $20,000 vehicle, you're buying a used car.
What will it take for prices to turn around?
In the end, if consumers don't buy, prices will come down.
Things may be turning around. Bo Bachman owns a car dealership group in Los Angeles where inventory has been sitting longer.
Now we're getting incentives back. Most of our interest rates are between 2.9 and 0%.
But then there's the cost of insurance. The latest Consumer Price Index shows a 22% increase over last year.
Safety features, do they affect insurance rates?
There's backup cameras, there's sensors. All these things cost quite a bit more to repair. So a bumper went from being $1,000 repair to maybe a $10,000, $20,000 repair.
Come here.
The Hoods recently purchased a used Tesla. They're looking to add a 3-year-old Ford Explorer priced at $40,000.
We're looking at new cars and we realized that we could get 2 used cars.
The New York Fed says auto loan delinquencies are at their highest level since 2008 because of higher prices and ballooning interest rates. Jeff Nguyen, CBS News, Los Angeles.
TikTok is vowing to challenge a potential U.S. ban of its app. Over the weekend, the House passed a foreign aid package that calls for TikTok's Chinese parent ByteDance to sell it within 270 days or risk being banned nationwide. In an internal memo to employees, the company says it's planning to file a court challenge if the bill is signed into law. The U.S. Department of Agriculture is asking consumers to check their refrigerators and freezers for tainted meat. The Department's Food Safety and Inspection Service says ground beef products from Greater Omaha Packing Company tested positive for E. coli. The items in question were produced last month and have a use or freeze by date of April 22nd. Final check of the forecast next. Up next on the CBS Evening News, the importance of a mission in the Bahamas to study and save reef sharks. Then on KOAM News at 6, we're going to have more on that controversy surrounding a proposed sober living house in Baxter Springs. Plus, some Carthage community members voiced their support for city leadership, and 2 of the top baseball teams in the SEK Conference square off as Pittsburgh hosts Chanute. Stay with us for the CBS Evening News, then KOAM News at 6. At least to start the week, the weather looking pretty nice.
Yeah, today wasn't bad at all. 73 tomorrow. We could get a random shower during the afternoon. Some scattered thunderstorms on Wednesday, and then they really start to ramp up late Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. You can see the possible alert days, meaning severe weather.
meaning you need to stay informed and in touch with Doug Heddy. Thanks for joining us. CBS Evening News is next. Of course, we're going to be right back here for KOAM News at 6. Let's make it a great evening.